Hello and welcome to another episode of the Destiny Truthcast. This is episode number 52. I am Lost Souls, joined today, as always, by my co-host, RedWingGirl. How are you today, RedWingGirl?
I'm doing okay, Souls. How are you doing today?
It's very, very warm today, especially in this room with everything shut to keep it as quiet as I can. So it's probably going to be like a sauna by the time we're done, but other than that, I'm all right.
It's the opposite here. It's nice and sunny, but it's cool.
I'll trade you.
Now you can keep that Midwest humidity. Out in Seattle, it's nice and dry.
So we have a very special episode today. When we were out in LA, we had the great pleasure of running into two Guardians after we got back to the hotel from the reveal. And we walked in the doors and, saw them sitting over on a couple of the sofas in the lobby, and got to talking, and they happened to be Pherian and Stenbox. So it's really a great pleasure, one, meeting you out there and getting to talk a little Destiny, but having the two of you able to join us here today.
Happy to be here.
Thanks for the invite. Like being here.
Pherian, I know that a lot of the community are probably familiar with you from seeing you on Community Focus on BNet, but if you could just tell the community a little bit about what you do in the Destiny community.
Sure. So primarily I do art at random. I choose when and how I'm doing my projects, but basically I try and draw guardians of individuals that I know or people that are just looking to get something drawn to memorialize their time with Destiny. I post it on Bungie.net, on Twitter, and sometimes on Reddit every so often. But for the most part, I just do it because it's fun. I don't charge for anything or get paid by anybody. It's something that I use my talent for to make other people's lives a little bit better.
What drew you into that to begin with?
Well, I mean, I've always been an artist. I've always drawn. I have a degree in it and stuff like that. But the concept art for Destiny initially was what really sucked me into that game. I'd be honest with you, it wasn't on my radar at all. I wasn't really planning on necessarily getting it. But then I saw the concept art for it, and I was extremely just in awe of the style, the whole science fiction / fantasy vibe they have going on. It really fits my personal aesthetic at the game types that I like. I love post-apocalyptic, but I love beautiful post-apocalyptic stuff. I don't like gritty, annoyingly dark stuff. I like seeing the world become more beautiful after everything else is broken, and that's what really got me about the Destiny aesthetic. Was that's how it was. Everything was pretty, despite the fact that it was all broken and old and rusted and banged up. It was still this awe-inspiring world you could walk around and experience. So that's what pulled me in, and so the way the community, the way that the Destiny, the Bungie team artists created their armor and stuff, it's perfect for me. I love that. I've always been a character artist, and the different Guardian styles have so much character. It just makes me want to draw them.
So what kind of materials do you use to create your art?
Mostly a Photoshop, the actual program. I have a Wacom tablet, or Wacom, I don't know how you pronounce it, but basically it's a little tablet with a pen, and you draw directly into Photoshop. I don't have anything else other than that. It's just I draw at work, actually, of all things, when I have spare time. So, and the people at work got me Photoshop to help out with mapping programs and stuff like that. So I draw straight into that. I create a layer for a sketch. I'll pull references from Bungie.net and put them in a window next to me so I can look at them the whole time. And then I just do layer upon layer upon layer until I've got a complete project.
Yeah, I just recently saw you did a Titan, I think. Is it a Titan that you created?
I have done a few different lately. I did a Warlock just recently, Titan flying with a kick. I did a couple of family portraits for people and their daughters and stuff that play the game together. So yeah, I do a lot of Titans though. It's the only class I have, so I'm drawn to them.
Oh, I see you're speaking RedWingGirl's language right now.
I'm just partial to the Titan. I don't know what it is, but that's good to hear.
Yeah, the two that you did with the Guardians and their children, the Titan in the bubble, just incredible. That has to be, I think, the feedback you get from that pretty phenomenal when you hear how you impact those players' lives when they see that.
Yeah, I mean, most people are very, thankful and stuff like that. I always tell them if they feel the need to pay for something, because, people don't want to take things for free, obviously. Just push it to charity. But I don't need it, so it's better to put it somewhere where it needs to go. But yeah, they seem to like it, and that's why I do it. I do it because it's fun for me to do. But then they get to take something that they can't create on their own, right? Most people don't have the artistic backgrounds that I do, and they can't create their own thing to remember themselves by. So it's nice that I can give them that option, something that they can put in a frame and say, look, we spent 3 years playing together, me and my daughters, and they have that to remember themselves by.
Yeah, and that's something that this game has really created a lot of memories for people. A lot of it's something that we've talked about a lot, is being very underrated about Destiny, is the connections people make within the game. Its ability, we're here speaking from all over the country and the world talking Destiny. We met out in LA in a lobby and saw each other wearing Destiny gear and said, hey, and just started up a conversation. And there's really something pretty incredible about how this game is able to connect people and bring them together like that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. My experience with the game, anytime I've ever worn I only have like one Destiny shirt, but anytime I've worn it, and someone does mention something about the game, they're always good people. They're always nice people. They're always pleasant. You rarely run into any adolescent or even old jerks out there that play Destiny as a main, as a primary game. So I think it's amazing, especially at the event, the reveal. All the different walks of life that we ran into, everybody was a decent person. You could sit down and have a drink or a beer with these guys and not be worried because they're creepy. They weren't. They were all nice people.
Yeah, and we'll get to the reveal in a little bit. I want to backtrack just very quickly because you're discussing just kind of the things that inspire you and what drew you in with Destiny and the post-apocalyptic world, but not the in runes, with the beauty and the destruction. Were you a Logan's Run fan?
Not really. I'll be honest with you. Some of the old movies, like Blade Runner, I enjoyed. But see, Star Wars, I guess, is more my thing. This futuristic world that is beaten. You look at Tatooine or the YT-1300, the Millennium Falcon. They're worn. I also like Firefly, which was, to me, that same aesthetic, that same beaten down, quasi-futuristic, but also a throwback to the old Western style. That's the kind of stuff that I like. I was never Escape from New York. Didn't really do much for me. That kind of that thing, but yeah, I like the mixture of fantasy with future, and that you don't know how old this world is by looking at it. You can't tell if it's 100 years old because it got beaten down, or it's been 1,000 years or more that it's worn down.
Yeah, and the reason I asked that is one of my favorite moments, I think, in kind of science fiction cinema is Logan's Run, where they're escaping the underground city, and they get outside into the world, and it's the ruins of Washington D.C., and they're going down the river, and then all of a sudden there's the ruins of the Washington Monument and the Capitol building and whatnot. So that's just when you were describing that, it just brought that to mind.
Yeah, and you see, like, I played Fallout 4, right? And I wanted to love it more than I did. I still liked it. I played a ton of it, don't get me wrong. But, or was it Fallout 3? I don't know. Whichever one was set in, Fallout 3 was set in in Washington. And the palette, the color palette, the style, I kept thinking to myself, if I was in this environment and I was going to build my house, I'd use rusted materials, but I'd do my best to make it a livable thing instead of always living in squalor. So I like the way Destiny does it. It puts a little bit of polish on that terrible landscape,
So, do you have a favorite armor set that you've acquired as you've played the game?
As far as a favorite, I guess I use the New Monarchy with the fur on the shoulder and the collar. I like that. I've always been New Monarchy for the most part. But no, I change armor styles like I change socks every day. I mean, I don't have a specific go-to for me. And what I'm looking forward to in part 2 actually is them getting rid of the reload mechanic on the arms, so that I'm not beholden to, oh, I have this set of arms and it has auto rifle reloader, so I basically should use that. You know, I'm glad I get to pick things that are going to be differently tailored.
That is a daily battle for RedWingGirl, being beholden to the stats on the drops.
Yeah, that's one thing that's going to be a benefit in D2 is not being able to have to worry about that. I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat. You know, I change armor almost weekly, but I've accumulated enough that I'm able to put sets together for the guns that I use the most. But there's that rare occasion where, you know, I really want to kind of use a different gun in PvP, but I don't really have the setup, and, you know, then I start to run into problems with my vault because I have too many ARM collections, and, you know, it's just ridiculous. So hopefully that will be a little bit less of a problem in D2.
Yeah, I'm with you. I absolutely agree.
And then last thing I want to ask is, how do you like to play Destiny? What kind of player are you? Are you a PvPer, PvEer? What kind of weapons do you like to run and whatnot?
Auto rifles primarily. I've always liked them. I guess they make up for my lack of skill by allowing me to just spray as many bullets as possible. I really enjoy PvE, specifically Patrol, a lot. I just wish there was more reason to do Patrol. As of right now, there is no reason. You can get resources by buying them. You can't get any real legendary stuff except for once per day for the public events. So there's not really any incentive to do Patrol. But that was, especially when you needed resources from the world, that was my go-to. I just love roaming the world, taking my own time, picking off the AI. I love the gunplay. Ever since probably about a year and a half in, I've done an alternation between PvP and Patrol, and then once they added more incentives for strikes, I did strikes in PvP. But I'm not terribly gifted at PvP. I do 1.0 pretty much across the board. I don't do Trials of Osiris or anything like that. I'm pretty casual when it comes to that stuff. But yeah.
So do you feel like any of the gun changes have had any impact on you, or no?
Well, at the DT reveal, man, I played that auto rifle and it felt good. I have no problems with their auto rifle changes or anything like that. I played the other guns as well. I like the fact that I can run an auto rifle and a hand cannon now to get somebody low in PvP and then finish them off with a hand cannon is wonderful. I really like that they moved all the power weapons into one spot. I was playing Iron Banner this week, and the amount of time you spend suddenly getting killed by one hit kill stuff, I realize now how distasteful that is. I don't like it. Like I'm looking forward to having a couple of gun battles with people instead of people running around the corner and just shooting me once and I die. I don't like it.
We are also joined today by someone that you did a drawing of recently after everyone got home from the reveal, which was pretty cool to see when that popped up on your feed. Stenbox, how are you today, Stenbox?
Very good. Thank you for asking. I enjoyed that drawing a lot. I was quite surprised by it, and I think it was amazing.
Yeah, it was really cool, and you've got it up as your profile up on Twitter. If anyone wants to see it, there it is. It's really a cool thing you did, Pherian and Stenbox. It's pretty badass.
Well, Sten let me hang around with him, so he earned it.
Thank you. I liked a lot how Pherian got some of the details down, so he actually found out from some earlier screenshots what my favorite armor sets are, and we talked in LA a little bit about which guns I like, and he actually put them all into the picture, and I really liked it.
That's awesome. So you are joining us today from Estonia.
Yes, that's right, all the way from Estonia.
So first of all, let the community know a little bit about yourself and what you do within the Destiny community.
Well, first of all, I just play a lot of Destiny, and I love this game. And whenever I'm not playing, I spend time on different Destiny-related Reddits. Mainly, of course, Destiny the game, but I also spend a lot of time on Crucible Playbook, which is a subreddit devoted to improving in PvP. And at some point in time, they had this wiki pages there with different guides they have done over the time, and at some point I noticed that these have not been updated for a long time. So I volunteered to keep their wiki pages updated, to remove old stuff from there, add all new guides that pop up, and that's how I ended up in their moderator list, and that's basically what got me the invite to LA to Destiny 2 reveal.
Wow, I didn't know that. So you're actually going into their Wikipedia page and updating it like every time they make a change to everything?
No, it's in Crucible Playbook they have a section wiki, which means there are playing guides, weapon guides, call-out maps. There's a separate section for like different tools that can help you, set your loadout straight, and pretty much all the guides that are made by someone from that Crucible Playbook. They post a new guide. It gets a lot of good feedback, and I make sure it's included in the list in the proper section, and everyone in the future can find it. And also, Destiny is a changing game, and at some point these guides become mostly outdated, which is the point where I just have to remove them from that list, because there might be more false information than useful information there at that point.
So how long have you been doing that?
It's a good question. I'm not even sure when did I exactly start with it. It might have been almost a year ago. Time flies really fast with Destiny. Crucible Playbook started much earlier, and I was just reading new information there and sometimes making a post. And they did this update of state of the subreddit and gave some information what's going on, what's been happening, and in the comment section there I just volunteered to take care of the wiki section, and I made them a draft, and they agreed and gave me access, and I've been doing it ever since.
So do you have to submit the changes that you make prior, or do they give you the free access to sort of go ahead and make the changes as you see they're needed?
They gave me free access. In the beginning, I used to double check a few things with the regulars, so just to make sure we're on the same page. But by now, I pretty much know what they expect, and what's too much, and what's suitable. So it's no verification needed at this point. We've managed to get on the same page.
So we have to ask you, what is your favorite class to play?
I've been a Warlock since beta, and spent 95% of my time on that character.
Wow, look at that. So usually I'm outnumbered. It's just all Titans, and I'm the lonely Warlock on the podcast. But it's nice to have a fellow floofer here with me today.
Yeah, seems we're spread 50-50 today.
I don't understand the jump of the Warlock, but apparently everyone thinks it's great.
I've heard the opposite. Everyone seems to hate it because when you're used to other classes, it's doesn't really leave room for error. Because if you need to get over a gap and you miss some part up, then you cannot gain any more upward momentum, and you're just gonna fall down. There's nothing you can do about it. But I think it's once you learn use it and to control it. For example, when you're floating and you just you can cancel the jump, you can cancel the float, and you can reactivate it. So if you cancel it in a long fall, for example, the rest of the momentum you will keep. So you can use it for softer landing and things like that. So it's if you make a mistake, there's no coming back from it, like with hunters. But I think it's a good jump, and I'm really used to it by now.
Do you use the focus burst, or which of the jump abilities do you use on it?
Yeah, I use focus burst because once people showed me how fast you can move with it in PvP, it's I think it's really useful. In PvE, maybe it doesn't matter so much, but once you learn this warlock skating, there isn't really no looking back.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because that's been my experience. Everyone always talked about the Titans and the Titans and the Titans and the Titan skating, but I found that once I switched from the balance glide to the focus burst, you just can move so fast. And not just that, but whereas a Titan, it's all pretty much forward momentum. With the Warlock, you have that agility and that speed really in any direction. If someone's coming up behind you, you can very quickly focus burst backwards up over them and kill them from behind. I mean, it's side to side, such a versatile class once you get it down. It does take a lot of practice, but the reward, I think, is a huge payoff.
Yeah, I think Titans are more like trains. They get their speed up, but they're going in a straight line, and in PvP that can be a little bit predictable. I'd say the best Titans use extra things like Twilight Garrison and Shoulder Charge to make it more unpredictable and do it even faster. But it's a different one. It's still the fastest, the Titan, but I'd say Warlock has some advantages. It's also it doesn't take you so far off the ground, so you can correct more easily and more often.
So Pherian and RWG, I think we've established today that the Titans are the bullet trains of Destiny, and the Warlocks are the Formula Ones.
Whatever you want to believe.
So what kind of player are you, Stenbox? How do you like to play Destiny?
I started back in the day almost playing PvE only. I was pretty terrible in PvP. By now, I would say I'm going between them 50-50. So when a new DLC releases and there's new stuff to do in PvE, I spend maybe even up to a month there without even touching PvP. But as the time goes on, it goes. I spend more and more time in Crucible. Right now, for example, when the content's pretty old, I just do the weekly activities on Tuesdays to get my treasure packages and spend the rest of the week in PvP.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of the same way. It's like, if you have, do you raid a lot or no?
I raid pretty on a regular basis when it's when the content is still fresh. Thing is, I barely touch my other two characters, so I do one, maybe two raids a week on my Warlock, and then that's it. But right now, I haven't raided for a couple of weeks, just do the Nightfall and Heroic Strikes when the weekly reset hits, and then go whatever Crucible modes are active for the week.
Oh, see, I just think, like, if you're really, in my opinion, I know this is probably not what most people think, but I just think there's so much PvE content now because of the release of the upgraded raid, Crota and Vault of Glass raid, that if you're really into raiding and you like PvE activity, I mean, you have, 4 raids that you can do on 3 characters, and I run all 3 of my characters through all of them if I can, and it's a matter of the time, except for like when Iron Banner is out or I'm just tired of playing PvE content, then I go to PvP. But But I'm kind of with you in that if there's a lot of PvE content, then there's really not a lot of reason to go to PvP.
Yeah, I enjoy the parts in Destiny where the content is fresh and you have new quests to do, new raid to try to complete and go in blind. It's amazing. But for me, the raids after a little while they become a little bit boring because they have set mechanics and they are very predictable. Whereas in Crucible, every encounter is different because you have to think what the other player is doing and think what he will think that you are doing and just try to be unpredictable. It's why I like PvP a lot. So even though I still think that PvE in Destiny is great, it's just when the raids are becoming older and I've gone through them many times, I end up spending more time in Crucible.
So what do you think the best quality of the raids in the future would be? More of a unpredictable AI kind of, sporadic experience where things may not be the same, but you still have to kind of get through a wave of, bullet sponge kind of lots of enemies to get to the end of it? Or do you think that those type of mechanic things that you kind of have to overcome and get down to reach the end of a raid is better? Which do you prefer?
I wouldn't, paint it black and white. I like when raids have a lot of ads to shoot and clear, but I still think the mechanics parts in all the raids are really necessary, because if they would be just, kill ads and shoot boss, that it just would be like a strike and wouldn't be special anymore. And it will also mean that once Guardians grow more powerful, they can skip some parts of the raid that make it interesting. I mean, the mechanics itself, they really make the raid interesting and require you to cooperate. But if there were just shooting mobs and doing damage on the boss, it would become boring a little bit more faster, I think. So I'd say the raids are in a good path, because clearly Crota's End, they did not have enough time to really make it a full length raid, and they let some mistakes in as well, so everything was not double checked. King's Fall was a big improvement, I think, but they maybe made it a little bit too long. It required a lot of effort to find the time to always do it, and especially in the beginning where you did not clear every boss in one single go. And Wrath of the Machine, they intentionally made it shorter, which I think was a good thing, and it was really it was a really well designed raid where you have this different types of sections interlaced with each other. So there's a small jumping puzzle, and then you get the fight, then you jump some more. I think it was really well done, and I think they will go in a similar way. Maybe a little bit longer raid than Wrath, but I think people were really satisfied with it.
Pherian, do you have a chance to raid a lot?
I didn't raid much at all the first 2.5 years of this game. I blame it on the fact that I refuse to be the guy that drops out on a whim, and I rarely have an opportunity to play uninterrupted for a very long period of time. So I just deliberately didn't get into raids because I didn't want to be the guy that abandons a group. But once they released the updated all 4 raids, and I realized Destiny 1 was coming to the end, I'm like, I gotta do this eventually. So I met up with a couple of guys I play with every so often, and they agreed to Sherpa me through all 4 raids. So as they came out, we did them the week that they came out. So I did all 4, one after another as the adept weapons and all that stuff came out. And since then, I might have done 2 or 3 more to help other groups out. I picked up on them pretty quick. But raiding isn't always my thing, just because of the time investment. I enjoy knocking out a PvP match in 10 minutes, or patrolling anywhere from 1 minute to 2 hours. I like having that flexibility of time. I hate being locked in and feel like if I leave now, I'm gonna mess these guys up because they're trying to get something done.
When you got through and got to experience all 4 raids, what did you take away from that as far as the different styles of the raids? Did you have a favorite raid out of the 4? Anything you really enjoyed about any of the particular ones?
I think I'm going to be like the bulk of Destiny people and say Vault of Glass was probably the best. Crota, I didn't mind as much. I thought it had, especially when you first drop down and you're in the darkness zone or whatever. I thought that was pretty cool. And King's Fall, I didn't enjoy much at all, to be honest with you. I thought the Golgoroth part was pretty interesting, but I'm not a big heavy puzzle mechanic guy. And Wrath of the Machine has some pretty interesting fun parts too. But I guess Vault of Glass to me was like the quintessential raid, and I think it fit very well with the way I like to play.
Going to the Vault of Glass, I know I was someone that didn't raid a lot for a long time either. I didn't start until like halfway through Taken King when I started playing with RedWingGirl, and up until then, my only experience with the Vault was the couple missions where we went in there with the story. And probably my favorite mission in the entire game was the Praetor's Ghost mission, going in and getting to, in a non-raid setting, still be able to go through and explore the entire Vault of Glass. Did you have kind of a similar experience with that, or what were your thoughts getting in there outside of the raid?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. So, I watch other people do world's first raids, when I can. So, for instance, during King's Fall, even though I'd never played it, I actually had seen the whole thing get played by other people. So, I kind of knew what to expect. But yeah, Vault of Glass is kind of the same thing, where I only have experienced it either through videos online or through, that mission, that one mission. But I think it's neat. I think it'd be awesome to allow you to walk through raid space without even realizing you're in a raid space, and that's kind of what I liked about the first one was, I was adventuring on Venus, doing my thing, and I'm like, this is a weird area. Look at these big minotaurs. They're gonna kill me. I better stay away from there. And then come to find out later on that that's the opening. That's the first part of Vault of Glass. I kind of hope that there's more of that sort of thing in Destiny 2, where it's already there. You can see it all if you know how to look for it.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's a good way to look at it. And, something that I've always wanted to see too, to build on that, is not just that raid space, but the PvP as well. Going back as an older gamer to, like, one of my favorite things about GoldenEye back in the day was you could play these PvP matches with your friends, but then you could go and you could play the game and you could go and play the campaign missions on these same maps where you're doing the PvP. And I always thought that was really cool and something that no one really has done since in games I've played. And Destiny actually did do it a little bit with like the mission to get, I think it's Yellowhorn, where you go and you go to Bannerfall to look for the pieces of it, and the Fallen are attacking. And I know there's one where we went to oh my god, I'm gonna blank on the name.
To Twilight Gap.
Twilight Gap. Yep. Thank you, Stenbox. And that's kind of something I would love to see in Destiny 2, is those PvP areas be someplace you can go to on patrol and just kind of walk around those spaces, and it's incorporated into the world instead of just this separate entity.
Yeah, I actually talked to one of the Bungie developers at Part 2, at the D2 reveal, when they were talking about, he was the one that designed the level we played for PvP, and I explained to him that I aesthetically really appreciate when a PvP map looks like it was part of an existing world instead of an odd arena that makes no sense to a degree. I like the fact that the level we were playing looks like it was actually part of a city. It had almost livable buildings and offices and stuff like that, instead of a obviously fabricated design for a PvP arena. So I'd love to see that. I'd love to see this big open world, and then there's certain areas you go in, you're like, this is definitely an area I'd like to fight in, and then later on you find out, yeah, all they did was wall off the area, and now you're playing PvP there. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah, 100%. And what you were just speaking of with the reveal, and I had that experience when I was playing the campaign. The gentleman from Bungie that led me over to the console, I'm like, well, what do you do at Bungie? And he was the level designer for the campaign mission. And I just thought that was the coolest thing. It's like, you know, I'm about to play this. And he's like, yeah, I did this mission you're about to play. And so here I am about to play D2 for the first time. The guy that's handing me the controller, like, made the level. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, that was awesome.
So, going back to the reveal, what did you guys think, like, when we were all sitting there in front of the or behind, you know, looking at the stage? What did you think of the reveal itself?
I thought it was amazing. I think they had done an amazing job setting the whole thing up, building the space where we went and see it for the first time. And when they first showed the first cutscenes from the game, and just, you know, Zavala going into his Fist of Havoc animation, and you know, people were so hyped about it. There were so many cheers in the audience. I think it was amazing because you could feel how everyone in that room is really, you know, connected to Destiny, and they're really connected to the characters. And when they see these characters that we don't even play ourselves, we just you know, interact in the same world with them. When we saw them being these badass guardians, I think it was an amazing feeling, and everyone in the room felt it and cheered for them. I think it was amazing.
What did you think about the speakers and what they had to say about some of the new things that they're bringing in D2?
Well, I wouldn't say there was much very unexpected there, but so far everything they've talked about D2 and everything we've seen and heard and even played in game, I'd say all the changes are in the right direction. It's Destiny in the beginning started off a little bit slow in the very beginning, and with every DLC, with every year, they have, you know, received more feedback and really, you know, added more depth to the game. And I think it's still an ongoing process. There's a good chance that every new version, every new DLC we see of this game takes the game into a better direction. I was happy about everything we heard there. I was, you know, don't even have anything specific to point out, but I think they did a great job.
Did you play all the campaign, the strike, and PvP, or did you just do one or another?
Yes, I played everything. I was actually fortunate enough to go there in the beginning and get to the first console without a queue to play some PvP. And I found an opportunity to go through the strike later and play the campaign, and you know, get a few more rounds of Crucible in later. I liked all of it. The campaign was obviously I think Luke Smith said it's a modified version of the first story mission in Destiny 2, so they made it a little bit shorter, I think, and changed some things. That's what I heard, and it really, you know, gives this feel of what Destiny 2 is gonna be like. So the Cabal has attacked the city, and it's it's burning everywhere, and you're feeling overwhelmed. The strike, which we got to play, it was a little bit different from the strikes we know, because it's a new game, and they've made progress on the details. So the areas were much larger. They did not feel like a small room where you just are playing your strike in, but they felt like an open world which you progress through. I think that was great.
We actually got lost in the strike for about 15 minutes. Did you have to spend some time finding your way around as well?
No, we did not have this problem. I think there were waypoints pointing us to the right direction, and we did not get lost. We struggled a little bit getting across this small jumping section in the middle, because the jumps they work a little bit differently than they work in Destiny 2, especially the boosting and canceling, and we all fell down a few times.
So what did you think about the kind of the differences in the gameplay from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2? Because the way that, we've kind of described it is, it's still Destiny, but at the same time, you also, at least in our experience, we realized, almost immediately after starting into the mission and the strike, it's still Destiny and it's still the game we've played, but it is completely a brand new game.
Yeah, I feel the same, and I'm really happy about it, because I think Destiny players don't want it to be anything else than Destiny. They just want, some they want a fresh start, start building a character from scratch, experience that again. Because I think the first, 10, 15 hours maybe, where you build your character, get new levels, grow stronger, every story mission you do pretty much get new gear. I think it's a really exciting part of character development, and it felt very much like Destiny to me. We got to play 3 of the subclasses so far, and they are a little bit similar to what we know, but they still have, some changes, some new tricks up their sleeves, which was the part I was a little bit worried about before we knew what Destiny 2 is gonna be like. If they will change the subclasses, or make them too different, or will they keep them exactly the same and make it just a chore to level them up again and use the same skills you have been using for 3 years. I think they made a really nice compromise to keep things similar enough, but still put some new things in. And obviously, the reaction has been mixed. Some people say it's Destiny 1.5, which I find a silly comment, and then some people say they've changed too many things and it's not Destiny anymore. And I like what they've done. It's a good balance of new and old, and it, most importantly, the gunplay, everything felt really good. So I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, I can echo Sten, because I agree. I think that it felt exactly like you want Destiny to feel like. It doesn't feel like a different game. It's not like they turned it into a card game or a pinball game or something like that. It's its own thing. It's still Destiny. And we still don't know everything yet either, though. They could have added more, and you always hope for more, of course. It doesn't matter if it's an expansion or the original game. You always want more, but that's just the nature of humans, I guess. But they still haven't revealed literally everything, so there could be more to the game that we don't even know about yet, too. So overall, though, I'd play it like this. I was happy to. In fact, I was very sad to have to come back and play original Destiny after playing the reveal.
Yeah, that's a comment that actually Mercules said when we were discussing it after. he said that going back and playing Destiny 1 and going after using the new weapon system with the double primaries, and you were talking earlier, the AR hand cannon combo, and playing D1 after playing that system, that it feels broken to him.
Yeah, I'd agree with that completely.
To me, it seems that the last Destiny 1 patch, which removes special ammo on death, I think there's a good chance that they knew what obviously they knew what the Destiny 2 system is gonna be like, and I think this patch was a little bit to test what the new environment will be like, because we know that sidearms are still in that primary weapon slot, so you will always have ammo for them, or the new submachine guns as well, and everything else went to the power weapon slot, which means you have to pick up ammo for them, just like you have now for shotguns for snipers. And I think there's a chance that the last patch we received for Crucible changes was to test a little bit ahead of time what it might play out like in Destiny 2.
Yeah, I think that's an absolutely reasonable way to look at it. I'm pretty sure you're right there, Sten, that they wanted, at the very least, to get us used to it so that, the transition wasn't jarring completely. And I didn't actually play with the sidearm during the reveal. Did any of you guys play with it? Did it feel like the existing sidearm, the time to kill was still short like that?
As I watched people play, as we stood in line to play, I saw a lot of people using it. It seemed to be a popular choice. I only used it for a few seconds, and I pretty much hate sidearms in D1. I'll use the Dreg's Promise every now and again, but it felt like a sidearm to me in my brief use of it. I mean, but I saw a lot of people as I watched were using it, and it seemed to be mowing through enemies just fine.
To me, it seemed it was at least a little bit weaker than the best sidearms in Destiny 1 are at the moment. Maybe it was more similar to the current low impact sidearms. I only used it when I was on Hunter, because I believe Hunters did not have any submachine guns available to them. But on a Warlock, I used the Warlock had the exotic submachine gun on. I forgot what it's called, but it's had a little bit similar feel to what the Salo Supercell is like. So lightning rounds and a little bit this teal lightning color. And I'd say the submachine guns felt a lot better than sidearms, but obviously that's only based on the few select guns we were given, and it might be very different on with different guns and different roles on them.
Yeah, because right now the Iron Banner is pretty much nothing but wormwood, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, I have to agree. There's a lot of wormwood.
I got like almost cross-mapped with a wormwood on Rusted Lands last night when RedWingGirl and I were playing Iron Banner.
Have you guys noticed that the drops seem to be higher tier level? Like 100% tier level?
Oh, I didn't even notice, no. I don't pay attention to that anyway. I don't know what tier I am. I'm very casual about that.
Yeah, a lot of my drops for my armor have been like the highest tier level you can get, max tier level. And that's not normally the case in some of the drops. So I don't know if they changed it, or they made some improvements, or if my RNG is just really improved or what. But I did notice some big changes in the drops.
I think you have been lucky, because I've seen drops in all ranges, and I wouldn't say they've gotten better. I think it's the same. I think you've just had some lucky drops this week, probably.
What's your Iron Banner experience been, Sten?
I've been enjoying it. I try to play my Warlock to rank 5 every time Iron Banner pops up, and Supremacy is actually one of my favorite game modes, maybe second favorite after Control. And I've enjoyed it a lot. Been pretty successful so far, and games have been good to me.
So it's pretty funny. So I used to be a really big hand cannon user in PvE back in year 1 and year 2, and never really in PvP because I didn't really start playing PvP until about a year ago. And, you know, I have all the God roll kind of hand cannons and everything else, but I don't really use them. But, you know, since they came out with the new weekly bounties that you can get for the Crucible, or daily bounties, I should say, I don't know, I've been trying to do the hand cannon thing. And so yesterday I decided, well, I'm going to use the palindrome. The palindrome with the wormwood is almost unstoppable. I mean, you could be the worst shot in the world and take people out super fast with that combination.
I have a very different experience with hand cannon. I've tried to start using them and forced myself to stick with them. Last time was doing a hand cannon bounty where you need 50 kills with them, but they just don't work for me. Everyone else seems to have so much more experience with them, and when I go hand cannon versus hand cannon, I usually don't come up on top. So I always keep going back to my pulse rifles that I've been using since Suros was nerfed in year 1.
That's funny because that's my hand cannon experience. If someone's moving at me in a straight line, I can hit them with a hand cannon, but the second anyone moves any distance in either direction, I will not land a shot.
Well, that's because we also discovered during that conversation that you don't aim your gun when you shoot. You shoot from the hip. And that might be good for, say, the last word, but that's not going to be good for everything else.
Oh, no, I'll ADS with my hand cannon, but I can't do it. The only way I'll land a shot at that point, if someone's moving, is if it's just a random shot, hip firing. If I'm ADSing, I will not land anything.
Yeah, I've never had a great hand cannon experience. I tried the last word. I don't enjoy it. Every gun that I like to shoot, I can't hit anybody with. So in the end, I go back to an old Fenello's Peril that I had from, I don't know, year 1 or 2, whatever it was. I guess it would be year 2. It doesn't have any God roll stuff. It has like Third Eye on it and Relentless Tracker, which I used in PvE all the time before they had the artifact that lets you have perfect radar. And it kills people. And I guess I use that every time I have that weekly bounty up.
Well, I've been trying to use different guns, you know, since we're closing in on the end, and just sort of getting sort of a different sense of, or just kind of letting go of my comfort zone. You know, I'm mainly a pulse rifle user, so normally when I play PvP, I use Parthian shot, which, you know, just takes people out left and right. I'm not a scout user, and I never was really a strong hand cannon user in PvP. So I've kind of been very limited in what type of guns I feel comfortable with. So it's been kind of cool to just sort of go out and say, okay, I'm going to use an auto rifle today, or I'm going to use this scout rifle today. And, you know, I've just lately been starting to use hand cannons, and, you know, and I'm not a steady shot. I'm just not, I don't have the reflexes for it, but I can see why people who are, that use those guns like the palindrome, are so successful, because I have luck in the chamber on mine, and, you know, I just run it down to a couple bullets each time and then go after somebody, and I can take them out in 2 shots, and that's not even, I'm almost positive that I'm not getting headshots. So the gun is really powerful.
Yeah, I've always almost predominantly ignored whatever the meta was. I'm aware of it because I see the Reddit articles about it all the time, but whatever the meta is, I don't ever enjoy those guns. I like my odd gun choices, and maybe that's why I'm only 1.0 KD. But I've never been a big meta fan. I just use all kind. Whatever I picked up last, typically I'll use for a while.
What's been your favorite over the 3 years of Destiny? Your favorite primary that you've used?
I had the first year. I had the 3 Little Words as a pulse rifle. It was a high-impact, slow fighter.
Amazing.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good gun. I tried to use it again recently, and it did not play well for me. I've been using the Extremophile since before anyone noticed that it was a good gun. And I don't like counterbalance because I don't have super accurate fingers, so I need it to sway a little bit and give me that kind of circular motion. but I do have hidden hand on it. So basically, if I get in the ballpark, it'll hit some headshots. And then I do like the first curse. I can't say I'm good with it, but I want to like it a lot, I guess. I really want it to be the gun that I like a lot and get good kills with, but truthfully, I don't kill many people with it. I just think it's cool as hell.
I've only really seen one person ever using the first curse, and that I guess mastered it. And for that one game, every time I came across them, it was like they had a golden gun the entire game with the first curse. And I've never seen anyone else use it, and I'm like, man, this gun's just the most bossy thing I've ever seen. And so I don't know if it's just something where if you really get it down, it's super rewarding, but it seems to have a bad reputation. But that one player, God, it was unbelievable what they did with it.
Yeah, I think if you're a slow and steady guy instead of like me, I have a tendency to just rush into places. But I think if you really place yourself in the right spot, it can do some pretty good damage, especially if you're picking off people already hurt, because it has like a 90-something headshot damage. I mean, it's pretty great for either giving assists or stealing kills.
And as a auto rifle user, I will ask you, back in the day when Suros reigned supreme, my auto rifle of choice was actually Up for Anything, and it's my favorite auto rifle ever over the 3 years of Destiny. I don't know if you ever used that one or not.
I did, yes. I remember that gun now. I think I got rid of it eventually. I don't maintain too many emotional attachments, but I do absolutely remember that gun, and it was great. I loved it.
What about you, Sten? Any favorite weapon over the 3 years of Destiny?
Well, like I mentioned, I've been a pulse rifle guy for a long time. I obviously started with Suros back in the day, but when auto rifles got nerfed, I don't remember what my first pulse was, but I ended up using 3 little words, and then immediately afterwards the messenger once I got it, which was my favorite. And then I think year 2 started with Nervans, and then I switched to Hawksaw, and finally I'm now using pretty much all the time. I use Blind Perdition, and I switched to Maida for a few maps, but these are my favorite PvP guns.
You never use Red Death?
No, Red Death was... I've used it for a few rounds, but I had Messenger back then, and Messenger just felt so much better. You could two-burst almost anyone from any range in year 1, and yeah, I didn't feel Red Death to be my type of gun.
So how did you two meet at the reveal?
Actually, exactly the same way.
Yep. Go ahead, Sten. Tell him, Sten.
Actually, we met exactly the same way we met you, in that hotel lobby, just I think it was on the day before. So we had a small group chat going on Discord with some people who I knew were coming, because I didn't know anyone from there. And I met with one guy and just outside of the hotel and asked if I can charge my phone. So we were supposed to go into his hotel room, and then Pherian with another artist where we're sitting in the hotel lobby.
Guy named Cobb
yeah.
Art, yeah.
Yeah. And they were sitting there, and I think the Cobb Art just yelled "Destiny" because he saw my shirt, or maybe just had an hunch. And
no,
then
we were literally doing that to everybody
said,
that walked in. We would Destiny test everybody.
Yeah, so we just introduced each other and sat down and started discussing Destiny.
That's really awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. So what were the two of yours overall favorite moment from the experience at D2?
I really liked the fact that we got to hang out with Cosmo and Deej and a couple other people at a bar later on that evening, and that they were as genuine and pleasant people as you hope They were good people. And I say that a lot about people in Destiny, but it's true. They were, very nice, agreeable, happy to be around you type of folk, and I appreciated that.
Yeah, that was kind of my experience as well. What about you, Stenbox?
I just enjoyed the first hour of the reveal where they showed us the game for the first time, and just talked about it. It got me so hyped about it. I wasn't really sure what to expect about anything, but it was more than I could expect. And afterwards we got to play the game a little bit, but between that and then during the waiting times, I met so many nice people, some of whom I knew by names but not by face, and some of whom I knew nothing about before. And I agreed with what Pherian just said, that seems that all people, or at least the most active people in Destiny community, are really, really nice people. They're the nicest people I've ever met.
Yeah, everyone was, like you said, not just the community, because everyone that was there, you talking, yelling out Destiny, and that's what it was. I mean, you saw someone, when I was flying in, I had a layover in Chicago, and I was tweeting, and actually Justin from the Dad Tales podcast, he's like, "You're in Chicago?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I'm in Chicago too." I'm like, "Are you at O'Hare?" He's like, "Yeah." So it turns out he's like 4 gates down from me. So he's like, "Yeah, I'm wearing a New Monarchy shirt. Can't miss me." I'm like, "I'm wearing Oryx hoodie." So we met and we're talking, and then we're sitting there, and a guy walks by, and he's like, "You guys going to the Destiny reveal?" Like, "Yeah." So we started talking with him, and he's flying out too. And and then you get there, and all the people that we met, but the people from Bungie too, just, you don't really, part of the reason that we do this podcast is because we have, everyday community on, and a lot of our community is off the Bungie.net forums, where it's just anonymous gamer tags, and you see people, posting back and forth, and it's hard to, that experience, it doesn't really get humanized a lot. And when you bring people on and you get to know the names, the personalities and the voices behind the names, it really changes the entire dynamic. And that's kind of, it was the same thing going out there with all the people from Bungie, speaking about, it was the developers that took me to play the campaign, that were showing you the PvP. I mean, we were talking to Josh Hamrick as he stood at the PvP station. He's there, watching it and showing it off to people. And Kaz and Deej, we've known Kaz. Deej we know, but not on a level where we talk to him a lot. And we ran into him in the parking lot the day before, and we're pulling away from a restaurant, and we see Deej walking across the parking lot, and stop and jump out, "Deej," and he looks at us like we're crazy. But he was just as gracious and as could be. He came and found us the next day at the reveal and spoke to us in between all his interviews. He made time to come talk to us for about 10 minutes. And the thing that came through with all this is the passion that they all have for the game. They're gamers too, and they're fans of it, and they were just absolutely just as excited as could be to share this experience with us and show us what they could of the game. And I'm excited for the beta to come out, because I think that there's been a lot of mixed reaction, and I think that it's kind of hard to look at things on a video and gauge the changes to D2 in the environment of D1, because again, D2 is a different game. But it was just such an unbelievable thing, and to be able to meet players like yourselves, and the experience that we had, and hanging out after, just something I know I'll never forget.
Yeah, it was incredible. I was really gracious to have been there. It was once in a lifetime type thing. I mean, who knows if we'll still be around for Destiny 3, if they'd even remember us, if we're still doing the same things. So I was just excited to have been invited and been able to go, honestly.
So have the two of you been able to play any Destiny together since you've been back?
No, Sten lives in Estonia, and at the time that I'm available to play, he is probably sleeping.
Yeah, we haven't been able to play, and it would be really hard to schedule. I had the same thing when I was to LA myself, and trying to talk to my wife back home, and it was always we met just when I went to sleep. She just got up. We had a few words, and it was the opposite on the next morning. So time zones don't really match, but we will keep trying. We actually got I think 2 games in the event where we were in the same team playing Crucible with Pherian, and we had really good games. I believe we won both of them, and I kind of want to repeat that in Destiny 1 Crucible.
Yeah, definitely. I think Sten and I had a pretty good a bit of teamwork going on there. Every time I had a bad round, he picked it up, and every time he had a bad round, I picked it up. And I think that works out pretty well.
Do you guys both play on Xbox or PlayStation?
Xbox.
We're on Xbox, yeah.
So are you going to stay with Xbox, or are you going to go to PlayStation for all the exclusives for D2?
Nah, I'm staying on Xbox.
I'm staying on Xbox as well. The exclusives are, there's always been a few interesting things in the exclusive list that we have missed, but it's not the deal breaker for me. I've been Xbox player since I started console gaming, and I'm gonna stay there for sure. That's where all my friends are. That's where my clan is, and that's not gonna change.
Yeah, agreed. I don't have any friends, but I agree.
So are you both excited for E3 reveal on the Xbox Scorpio?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
excited
definitely
and curious. I mean, I want to know what it is, what the deal is, but I'm not like salivating over here waiting on it.
I'm excited about it. We're yet to see the details. I think it's probably will be revealed any second now, but I'm excited. Just not exactly hyped about it. It's just an extra option for us players to have. Not sure if I will jump on it immediately though.
So there's leaks as we're recording going on off Twitter left and right about the price of it being at $4.99, but then being lower, and people are speculating as to what the price is going to ultimately be. I have the first year regular Xbox One, so I'm waiting for the release of the Scorpio to see if there's any kind of exclusives that come with that, because I'm going to buy the Scorpio. So I'm sort of for the price-wise, I'm not really caught up too much, as long as it's not what I spent on the original Xbox One. But I was going to ask both of you, have you seen the reveal for the new game Anthem, and any of the similarities that people have been making comparing that to Destiny?
I saw the trailer, or whatever it is, a teaser, and I think it's way too early to try and make comparisons to it. I mean, it's 30 seconds, and it's just an armored guy getting into another armored suit or something like that. So
yeah,
I'm always excited for new games, period. It's not like I only play Destiny. I'm goofing around in another game as we speak right now, actually. So I think it's silly for people to get their all worked up over a trailer that's not even a full trailer yet,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I haven't understood how it became so fast to be associated with Destiny, or I've already heard someone calling it a Destiny killer for some reason, which is a title that gets thrown out a lot these days. And I'm excited for what the game will be. The teaser is interesting, and I hope it will be a good game. But the only real Destiny killer will be out September 8th.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's funny. I did not watch the trailer for that game, but I heard all the talk yesterday that, you know, whoever's coming out with their Destiny, the next Destiny or whatever. So it's interesting hearing it was just a 30-second little video of an armored guy.
You know, other games that they only help make the game group that you like better. I mean, Titanfall 2 came out, and the game is amazing. It's a great game. It's a wonderful game. Does it mean that I'm going to play that more than Destiny? Probably not, because, you know, it doesn't have open world exploration. It's always, you're always on, you're always amped in that game, and I sometimes like to take it a little bit easy. So, but if Titanfall had done this big open world exploration thing where you could chill out and meet other people, so it's similar to Destiny, the gunplay's there, man. It's a solid game. I like the mechanics. I like the movement. So, Destiny does a lot of things that other games don't do, and it does them well, aside from, you know, the things that we pick at sometimes.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what is it about Destiny that you think kind of makes it stand out? Is that game that everyone says it's going to be a Destiny killer, it's going to be the next Destiny? For me, I think really the magic in Destiny is, to a large degree, the social spaces like the tower, where there's not even a lot to do there, but the fact that when you finish up playing, you know, a strike or a story mission, Crucible or a raid, you can go in character and just kind of hang out with your friends or whoever you got done playing with, and see all these other people running back and forth throughout this world. And so I'm interested to see in D2 how they expand on that. But in your experiences, Pherian and Stenbox, what is it about Destiny that you think makes it such a special game?
So for me, like I said, it was that I don't always have to be on. I can still play the game with my character, and I can patrol. I can be lazy. I can wander around and do things. And sometimes, if I want to, I can be, you know, seriously amped to go play PvP. But I like the option. What I don't like about a lot of other games like Call of Duty and Titanfall is that the only reason you play is if you're ready and geared up and hyped. You know, there's no option for that character or for your progressive concept of your character to just relax and do things that, you know, you want to do, rather than always being on shooting after people.
No chill, just sweat.
It's precisely.
What about you, Sten?
For me, it's mainly two things. First of all, it's I think it's pretty much the only game I've played which does PvE and PvP together almost seamlessly. So you still get the same feel. You know, pretty much can use the same guns. Of course, there are some better and worse options, but you can switch from PvE to PvP in even a couple of times per evening if you want to, and it really works. And the second thing I find is they really, adding this, adding to loot, like Kate would say. So you have always some gear to get to. You have, you want to look good. You want to have armor and perks that make you strong, and you also have your guardian, and you obviously get a little bit attached to your guardian, and when you get him new weapons, you get him new armor, you make him strong, you make him look good. I think it really creates a bond between you and your guardian, and then you go into PvE or PvP, and it's still it all works great like one package. And I think that's the strength of Destiny. It's has a little bit of everything.
So as you've played Destiny the last couple weeks since you've gotten back from the reveal, what's been your favorite moment in in playing D1 again?
For me, it's we actually started this little intra-clan league. So we found 12 people who wanted to do some PvP, and we created 2 6-man leagues. So it's 3 versus 3 games. We play skirmish. And these 6 people in one group, they mix the teams, so everyone gets to play with everyone. So this is 10 different combinations, and in the end, you just win is 1 and then loss is 0, and you get the score, and then you get some table, and then there is a second group that does the same at the same time, and then they get another table, and we've been doing this week. One of these leagues is finished and the other's almost done, and after that we are going to have an improvement over this, like a season 2, put the top from each league together and then the bottom 3 together, and create new groups, create new teams. It's been amazing.
That's really cool.
For me, I got to punch a guy and he got electrocuted and died.
What's the backstory on that?
We were playing PvP and I punched him and then he died. That's all. I don't really have any elegant stories for you like that. I just like,
man.
When I survive a fight, that's a big deal for me.
Yeah, I always lose the melee battle. I don't know what the hell it is. I mean, I don't really run a lot of strength, so I know that's part of it, but I don't know. I always lose at the melee.
I'm just slow on the draw. Like after I shoot a guy and he's alive and I'm next to him, like, oh, I should punch him, but I'm slow. That's all.
I have found that everyone raves and raves and raves about the Warlock melee, but I get just so many more melee kills on my Striker Titan than anything else, and it's not even close. Like, I've killed Blade Dancers with my Striker melee. Yeah, I think it's like the most underrated melee in the game. I just think the Strikers and their melee is phenomenal.
Hey, when it hits, it's great. It is. It's wonderful. It's just the range is so short in comparison. Everybody raves about the Warlock because he can be across the map almost and hit you, and I have to be almost hugging you in order to punch you. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, you're right. The range is really short. It's you really have to get close and to take benefit from the extra damage, especially if you have a weapon with close and personal, which is pretty common on shotguns, but some auto rifles like the Continental can roll it as well. Which means if the enemy is low armor, I believe it's below 4, then your charged melee can one-punch them.
I should spend more time in the Crucible playbook because I did not know that.
So, Souls, what was your favorite moment?
I think that my favorite moment was the Kingsfall raid we did yesterday, and we had our normal 5, and we couldn't find a 6th, and we ended up getting a hold of Paradox, who was a previous guest on the Destiny Truthcast. He was one of the Destiny fiction producers that writes the fan fiction, and he had never done Kingsfall challenge modes, so we got to take him through and do all the challenge modes with him, and he actually ran the Spark on Oryx, and it was just really cool, really fun time.
Yeah, that was good. He got all kinds of good stuff too, I think.
Yeah, I think he said he finished one of his gear sets, I believe. What about you, RedWingGirl? What was your favorite moment playing?
I liked Iron Banner this week because of Supremacy, so that's one of my favorite modes. So I enjoyed really kind of just doing that, and got to max level on all 3 characters pretty early on. Now with the new way that they have the, getting to rank 5, but it was a lot of fun doing Iron Banner this week, and no special thing, just having a lot of fun doing it.
I did enjoy that Hunter throwing knife kill you had in Iron Banner when we played last night as well. That was pretty stellar.
Yeah, I've been playing the golden gun side of my hunter a lot lately, and I never really been that great at throwing knife, but I've been using it a lot more now, and that thing is deadly. It is pretty deadly.
I liked the backflip he did, and just the way you hit him in the back of the head and his body just flipped, did a full flip. It was pretty amazing, especially since he had just got done killing me, so I appreciated it even more. But
Well, I guess the other thing that was pretty funny that Chris of the Dead took a video of was the guy on the other side when we were playing on Firebase Delphi killed 3 of our team members in that tunnel area, and he stopped to record it. And so then I came up and took all of those, whatever they're called. What are they called?
the crest.
The crests. I took all of the crests because he was too busy trying to record his massive kill on all of us, so he didn't get any credit for that. That was kind of funny.
Yeah, it was awesome. Well, Pherian and Stenbox, we really appreciate you both coming on today. It was incredible meeting the both of you out in LA and getting to talk Destiny with you there, and really thankful that the two of you were able to join us together here and talk a little Destiny again today.
No, we appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for inviting us. It was a real pleasure meeting you, and I always love discussing Destiny.
Well, you guys are on Xbox. We need to add each other so we can do some gameplay or something together.
Yeah, we will have to try that. I will get up in the middle of night and play with all of you.
Hopefully, at some point, we could all get together, either in D1 or when D2 comes out, and play a little together. And yeah, just excited to see what we see at E3. I'm hopeful that they announce the beta will be playable shortly after. We'll see what happens there. So to everyone out there listening to the Destiny Truthcast on SoundCloud, Podbean, watching on YouTube, really appreciate, as always, your support and your feedback. And really quickly, actually, before I sign off here, Pherian, where can you be found on the internet if people want to look up all your work?
Pretty much just Twitter. I'm at Pherianart, Pherianart. And in my little, what do you call it? I guess a bio on Twitter is a link to my little Imager album, which just has all my art in it. That's about it. I don't have a big marketing presence.
And Stenbox.
I can be found on Reddit as Stenbox. Just like my name is everywhere, it's also my gamer tag. And on Twitter, I am at the real Stenbox. So you can always get in touch with me there as well.
Is there
There's
a fake
bunch of fake
Stenbox?
Stenboxes out there. Yeah, there's a ton of them.
Well, yeah, I'm sure someone will be faking me out there, so be careful.
Again, just appreciate you both coming on, and anyone out there listening, if you would like to come on and talk a little Destiny with RedWingGirl and myself, just get in touch with us because we'd love to hear your thoughts on the game. RedWingGirl, it's been incredible getting to host another episode of the Destiny Truthcast with you. Always the highlight of my week when we get to do this together.
Thanks, souls. No, I'm kidding. Yes, it's always a good experience meeting everyone.
Everyone have a wonderful night. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. That's a wrap.